Okay, last night, my wife and I just watched a movie called Doctor Sleep. This is kind of a part two to The Shining. Now, for me and all this strange happening stuff, I've always liked science fiction and fantasy movies and things like that. A lot of times I try to pull things out of them like, okay, I understand this and I'll try that, or for the strange part of me, and let me try these different things. This movie I saw last night, I've never read. I don't know if there was a book for Doctor Sleep, if Stephen King came out with it, if there really was a part two to The Shining or anything like that. But we watched it last night, and I was like, oh my God. Even the part of the movie, I just stopped and said to my wife, this is what it's like. This is exactly me. This is what it's like. So it kind of, I was really wowed by that movie just because of the strange happenings in my life, and I really related to that movie. I mean, I really related to that movie in so many levels. This is the first time I'd seen it. I know it was at theaters. I don't even know when it came out, but and I don't know if there was a book with it or anything. But I saw this movie last night. We got purchased it and watched it on Vudu, I think it is, online streaming, and it's just like, wow, just wow. Let me get through some points about it. And spoilers for people who have not seen Doctor Sleep. I am going to get into it because I'm going to refer through this video as The Shining, with me as The Shine, okay? Because I've never knew what to refer it to, so I'm going to call it that some throughout this. But with me, what I saw, and I've got notes here. I've written some notes down just from past strange happenings, so I could pull it up, and it's like, I don't believe this. But there's a scene in the movie where the Rose, the bad lady, is going astral. You see her kind of floating above the earth, looking for someone, kind of thing, and going to different places. You see her body in the supermarket when she's not really there, but she's kind of there, and other people see her. That's going astral, and that's exactly what it's like for me. I mean, exactly. Back in my Strange Happenings number 6, I talked about astral travel, and I didn't just stay on the planet. I went to other places. I would slingshot around the sun just for fun. But they had it in the movie of her, even the Earth, looking face to face at each other like that. Most of the times in movies, you see you're above it, going down to Earth, that kind of thing. It's like, but it's not. It's really more like face to face, because that's just space. That's just the way it is, and they captured it perfectly. The other thing they captured perfectly in that scene when she's trying to find the little girl and going through the clouds and moving toward her, they caught it. They got it just right. Because on Strange Happenings 13, I talked about finding people, how to find people, open yourself up. And what you do is, and they call it, is you open yourself up, you kind of link with somebody, you know what that person feels like, you have a link to them somehow, or what they look like in a link. And you don't actively pull yourself to them when you're astral. You don't pull yourself and force yourself, claw your way there. That's not how you do it. What you do is you let go. You totally let go and just focus on the person. And it's like a tether, and they're pulling you. And you're drawn to them when you're focusing, you're drawn to them like gravity, like they've become the source of gravity for your astral body. It's like that focus that you've got on them there, it's like gravity, and you're falling towards them and they're pulling you. So it's not as if you're active in the situation. You let go and let yourself be drawn to them. And they caught it. They caught it really perfect. I was just like, wow. Whoever the consultant is on this for the graphics and on that movie, they must be like me, because they got it. They got it right on a lot of that, all that. They got it. And of course, the place about the Overlook. I had talked about, we lived in a haunted house. It's kind of like the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. The haunted house, like number 7 and number 8, Strange Happenings. So that's just a different thing. The other thing that they really caught pretty well was when the little girl, I think it's Abra, is sitting in a classroom and she's looking at other kids, and somebody's twirling her hair. She's talking about her hair. Somebody's thinking about math. She's looking at somebody and hearing what they're thinking. That's a little different from me, but that happens. Is when you look at somebody, you know what they're thinking. And for me, it's more like, it's almost like putting yourself in their situation. And it's like, almost like I know what they're thinking, because I could be in that situation thinking there, and I'm thinking the same thing as that's what they're thinking. But I'm not hearing words. I don't hear words, but it's almost like if I'm there, I'm sitting there, or I see somebody walking through a grocery store with a grocery cart, I can feel what they're thinking or know what they're thinking, but it's not words. I'm not hearing words. But I guess that's how you have to express it in a movie. They put words, so she's hearing words. I don't know how you can convey that otherwise in a movie. So for me, it's not loud words in my head like they showed in the movie, but it is like that. You look at somebody and glance at them, and it's just like, yeah, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there it is. This is what's going on around you. And it's still that way, grocery stores. Another interesting thing was with her, at one point, the little girl Abra goes into the other lady's heads, or the other lady goes into her head, saying, and memories like in a file cabinet. For me, that's why I can't look at people in the eyes for too long. You'll notice, family, that I don't look at people in the eyes, because when I look at people in the eyes, and if I stare too long, it's not a library that I see. It's a tunnel. It's a big, long tunnel. It's not file boxes, but it's pictures on a television set, like boxes, but with the images flashing all around a tunnel all the way down. Most recent memories first. As you go further back, it's further back into their lives, back to the beginning. And that's what I see. And as you go in, some are more strong than others, and they come out and they want to pull you into them. And so if I stare into someone's eyes too long, I get pulled into it. And it's like a tunnel with all their different memories, and some are more strong, want to come out. And that's why I don't look at people in the eyes for too long, because I do get pulled in. I can't hardly stop it when I do that, when I look at someone's eyes. So I can't, if I do that, I get pulled in. So I try not to do that, look in people's eyes, because I do get sucked in too much, and I can't seem to stop it. So I don't know how to stop that. Another interesting point about the movie, I mean, I'm sorry this video is long. It's going to be long. It's way too long already. But it just blew my mind. The thing about Dan and all his alcohol, I mentioned in one of my videos that alcohol, what do you call it? Numbs it, knocks it down, stops it from happening. And I did that a lot in college. I drink a lot of alcohol in college, in my early career life. Until I just can't drink alcohol anymore at all. I just can't drink it anymore. My body reacts badly to it. I can't drink it. But it did. It numbed it down, and it just made life bearable, just to be able to deal with all this kind of stuff and knock it down enough so you can actually have a life and be social and talk to people. So I did drink a lot of alcohol. And so I related that with Dan and his alcohol, not just because in the movie, his father background, but the alcohol numbs it. It really does. And I don't know if they try to show that in the movie, but that's what I got out of it. With his alcohol and drinking, it numbs it down. And it's kind of a good thing in a way. The alcohol is a bad thing. So I thought that was interesting. The other thing I mentioned about with the telepathy, there's another scene with a blonde lady, the new member to the evil club, whatever you want to call them, the gang of evil, that pushes people. I mentioned that in my Strange Happenings number 10 about pushing people, how you can push people. And I've done that before, and it's a bad thing, and you don't want to push people. And I really try to avoid that because you don't want to harm people. People got to live their own lives. That's Strange Happenings number 10. But when she started pushing people like that, it's like, I totally get it. I understand. I related to this movie on just through the whole movie. It's like, I get it. It's not a horror movie to me. This is just somebody else there like me consulting in this movie. It's like, well done. Just really well done. So I thought that was crazy. I mentioned in Strange Happenings number 16, I know there's others out there like me, and the consultant has got to be one of them. Because whoever did this movie did it, they got it right. As far as the entities and people going after the entities, in the movie they use weapons to physically kill the people's bodies, but the entities I see, they don't have physical bodies. Not like that. Not like in the movie. It's not physical for me. The things that I deal with and have dealt with in the past and see, the entities don't have physical bodies like that. And so I've used the shine, like they call it in the movie, to what I call help them. It's like they're lost and they can't find their way home. So I bring them to myself, or I show them the way home, melt away the darkness, and help them realize their true selves and find their way home, because they seem to be lost or something like that. And I mentioned in another video that sometimes some of these dark entities, it seems like they're required for this world to exist. There's nothing I can do. I can't touch them. they're the foundations, part of the foundations of existence. So you can't mess with those big ones like that. Others, I've come to do 3 draws, and it's like a fight. It is like a battle with those types of entities. So I thought that was a good, an interesting way to show it in the movies. And I'm thinking that's the only way you could show it in the movies in a decent way, is they had a physical body and they were fighting with the physical bodies with weapons, that kind of thing. But with me, it is fighting. It is a fight between, you know, somebody like me and then the dark entities out there. It is a fight. So I thought that was interesting. Another one that I did not put a Strange Happenings out on, actually I made a video about it and I deleted the video and redid it and left this small piece out. There's a scene in there, a couple of scenes, where the girl is sitting in a park bench toward the end, and they lure all the bad entities to her, and she's basically like a hologram. She's mentally projecting an image of herself, kind of an astral image, sitting on a picnic table, and they see it and they go after that astral image, but she's not really there. She's not there. She's just watching from a distance. I've done that many times younger, and I thought, there it is. And I had a video about that, and I just deleted it and redid it because I mumble on like I'm doing in this one, just mumbling on. So I just deleted it and I left that piece out. But I called it being slippery when I was young, being slippery, because back in the young days, me and my brother would slide across the floor, that kind of thing. So I called it being slippery. But I would mentally project myself out there if I thought I was under attack. As a little kid, now we're talking, you know, like 6, 7, 5 years old, really young, all the way up. If I feel myself under a big attack and I don't want to take it directly, then I will project an image out there of myself and let them attack the image. Now, for me watching from the sidelines, what I do is, in my mind, put up it's like a two-way mirror. So if they look my direction at me, look around, they're seeing a reflection of reality without me there. So they're seeing a reflection of themselves, the reality that they're in, and not me. So it's like a two-way mirror. So I'm looking at them, but they can't see me. They're going after the image that's over there. So that's the way that works. When that little girl did that, I'm like, really? Been there, done that? Okay, I get that. I totally get that. So everything in that movie is like, I totally related to just everything in the movie. It's just like, wow, okay, I totally get it. Totally get it. Now, there's some things that I mentioned, a lot of my Strange Happenings, that they did not include in the movies. Let's see. I've got it written down here. Seeing Through Walls, like I do now. They don't have that in the movie. They didn't show that. Knowing the Future, in some cases, they don't have that. Reality Responding, definitely don't have that, because that's too far out there. And barriers and houses, barking, shattering them through the barriers, they don't have that kind of thing. So they don't have some of the things out there. I did mention on Strange Happening 24 about the dark side. I was really in a dark place at that time when I did that video, and I'm really glad nothing happened on that one. That was Strange Happenings 24. Strange Happenings 24. So I'm really glad nothing happened. After the video, I'm like, this is really a bad thing. This shouldn't happen. We don't really want this to happen, kind of thing. And so the way I use those videos when it's dark and then you come out of it and you try to make sure that that doesn't happen is I look on it as me just being crazy. All this is crazy. I can push it aside and I can make myself believe that I'm crazy and none of this is real, and that I can move on with my life and continue. None of this is real because that didn't happen, because that dark side stuff didn't happen. So it must not be real. Okay, so that dark stuff didn't happen. I really didn't want it to happen. So I'm glad it didn't. And that means I'm crazy. So that's okay. I can go with crazy. Crazy's good. But that movie really was just, wow. Just, it wasn't a horror movie to me. It was, this is the way it is. This is what it is. This is what it's like. And they nailed it. I don't know who their consultant is, but it was somebody like me. Had to be, because they nailed it on all of that. So whoever your consulting is on there, and the way they talk to each other, Dan and the little girl talk to each other. I mentioned this in another video on the early Strange Happenings and Seeing Through Walls for the first time. If you will go back there, when I was in the bar looking at the wall and saw the little girl burn herself to death, and mentally reached out and she heard me, but took it in a negative way, and that's why I stopped talking to people in their heads. I don't do that anymore because of that, because people can react in a very bad way. And she did and killed herself, and I won't do that anymore. So the way Dan and Abra talk to each other in each other's heads, yeah, that works too. That works out a way. But I don't do it anymore because some people are really more stable than me, and it can go off in a bad way. So if you want to see what this is like, anybody out there watching this, watch Dr. Sleep, and you'll get the strange happening side of me, because that's what it's like, plus a lot more. And the thing, I don't even know if I want to end with this, but there's one other thing. I mentioned in another video, I don't believe in hell, not like the churches portray it, burning, fire, blah, blah, blah. Hell is basically kind of ignorance. You just don't know. You're lost. You're lost in the dark. And it's something you carry with you. It's like your own personal hell, and you carry it with you. And the thing about it is the thing that makes hell inescapable is you don't know you're in it.